Thank you for joining us here in the LTE TV studio. It's a great day to learn some English with you. My name is Katie, and I'm one of your teachers here on the show. Today, we have an e-report for you, and this lesson is called Chinese Opera. Chinese Opera.
Me. La 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 la.
Peter, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm getting ready to sing Chinese opera. I'm a really big fan. Hi everyone, my name is Peter, one of your teachers here on the show.
Well, you just heard Peter getting ready to sing some opera. What do you know about Chinese opera?
Well, I know it takes a lot of practice and a lot of education. Students practice for years and years before they can be ready to go on the big stage.
You're right. Understanding Chinese opera is important, so we're going to talk about it today.
Katie, do you like Chinese opera?
Well, I've actually never seen a full Chinese opera before, but I think it's interesting. I like the music and costumes, and we already know that Peter is a big fan of Chinese opera.
That's right. I enjoy learning about it. Before we say anything more about opera, it's important that we learn our key words. Here's Christina.
今天的主题是中国传统的戏剧，也就是京剧。京剧中包含了唱、演、舞蹈，甚至杂耍特技。演戏的动词是 act. People sing and act in Chinese opera. 京剧中演员的服饰都有特殊的含义。名词 meaning 就是含义、意义。Everything has special meaning. 戏里面谁有钱，谁贫穷，都可以从他们的服饰上清楚地看出来。有钱富裕的就是 rich. You can know which ones are rich. 在过去，剧中所有的角色都是由男生扮演的。扮演、表演就是 perform. All the roles were performed by men. 他们脸上的脸谱画法也是很讲究的。最主要的颜色包括红、黄、白、黑、紫、绿、银。银色就是 silver. Silver is one of the main colors. 如果脸上画了红色，就表示这个人扮演的是一个勇敢、英勇的角色。勇敢的就是 brave. It shows this person is brave.
Hello, friends. My name is Rebecca, and this is eReport. Well, we are back at the National Taiwan College of Performing Arts, and we are going to learn about Chinese opera. But first, I would like you to meet my friend, Mr. Monkey King. Hello, Mr. Monkey King. Mr. Monkey King is going to show us some interesting things about Chinese opera. I can't wait, so let's go. Whoa, that was awesome! Chinese opera, or Jingju, is one of the oldest forms of theater in the world. It started hundreds of years ago in China. In a Chinese opera, actors and musicians use music, singing, acting, dancing, and even acrobatics to tell a story. Chinese opera is very different from other forms of drama and theater. In Chinese opera, everything is important. Everything the actor wears, says, and does has special meaning. When you understand the meaning, you can appreciate the performance even more.
Wow, I did not know that Chinese opera is that old.
Isn't it amazing? It has such a long history. When people think of old theater, they often think of Greece. A long time ago, Greece had very famous writers who wrote plays for the theater.
Friends, do you know what theater is? Let's go to Christina now and learn more about the word theater.
京剧是世界上最古老的戏剧形式之一。京剧 is one of the oldest forms of theater in the world. 我们在这个句子里看到 theater 这个字，以前我们看它都是当戏院的意思，不论是歌剧院的戏院或是电影院的戏院都叫做 theater。不过今天的 theater 却是戏剧的意思。The oldest form of theater 是最古老的戏剧形式。如果 theater 当戏院的话，你可以说 I'll see you at the theater after work. 下班后我在戏院跟你碰面。他如果当戏剧的话，就说 She is interested in theater very much. 他对戏剧非常有兴趣。Theater 可以用这两种不同的意思和用法。
Thanks, Christina. Well, I said Greece is famous for a lot of things, like theater. But so is China, and Chinese opera is very special. It's old, and it's also very entertaining. There's a lot to see.
But Chinese opera is more than just singing. There's also acting.
Actors use very different hand motions to tell the story. The way their hands move tells us who they are talking about in the story.
And the dancing and acrobatics are also really fun to watch. The actors need to be very strong to do acrobatics. And they also need to know how to dance with swords and spears in their hands. It takes a lot of practice.
In our lesson today, it says that Chinese opera is different than other kinds of theater. Why is that, Katie?
Well, Peter, everything in Chinese opera has a special meaning. So that means every part of the drama has a reason.
Right. We already talked about hand motions. The actors can explain what's happening by just moving their hands.
Right. And later we'll learn more about the costumes and makeup and everything else. But right now, it's time for us to take a look at the next part of our e-report.
There are 4 major types of roles in Chinese opera. Sheng is the main male role. Dan are the leading female characters. Jin are the characters with painted faces. And Chou are for the clown characters in Chinese opera. When performers first start learning Chinese opera, they are put into one of the 4 types. Hard work and discipline are necessary in order to become a Jingju performer. Performers spend many years learning how different characters talk, walk, act, and dress. There is a lot to learn. That's why many of these performers must start learning Chinese opera when they are very young.
Costumes are an important part of Chinese opera. The colors, patterns, and styles of each costume tell a story. Who are the good guys in the story? Who are the bad guys? Who is rich? Who is poor? The audience can look at the costumes and know a lot about the characters even before actors say anything on stage. For example, rich, important characters often wear dragon robes with high shoes. Poor people wear pants, short jackets, and flat shoes. In the past, all Chinese opera roles, male and female, were performed by men. To help men walk more like women, special shoes were created. These shoes are high and have a small bottom. They are not easy to walk in. Even though most Dan characters are performed by females now, performers still wear these shoes. Actors training to play Dan characters spend hours practicing how to walk in these special shoes.
Wow! Even the costumes in Chinese opera have meanings. Look at what each character is wearing. You can understand more about that character.
Yeah, a small hat and simple clothing means the character is poor. But a rich man or a powerful person will have a very fancy coat with dragons on it. And a rich woman will wear lots of big, shiny jewelry. Also, costumes can tell us if a character is good or bad.
Is that different in real life? Can you tell if someone is rich or poor by the clothes they wear?
Well, maybe sometimes we can, but can you tell if a person is good or bad by the clothes they wear? We can't do that.
In fact, we should be careful not to look at people that way. When we do, we're often wrong. Besides, people's hearts are what matters more than the clothes they wear.
That's a very good life lesson, Peter. But in Chinese theater, the clothes that a person wears are very important.
Well, in Chinese opera, it has continued the same way for a really long time. There have been very few changes.
You're right, but one change is that long ago, only the men could be actors. And that means men played the roles of women. We learned that the men wore special shoes just so that they looked more like women.
But now both men and women have roles in Chinese opera. That is a very big change.
But they didn't change the shoes. They still wear them when they perform.
Well, so far we have learned so many new things in English and about Chinese opera. I think it's time for a break. So that's what we'll do right now. Don't go away.